Hey folks, I think I'm going to get started with a song, and then mostly we're just going to be talking today. So if you came for Lightfall, unfortunately I don't have it in me to do that today. So, but we'll start off with a song. Enjoy. All right. So I'm Ninja Kitty, and life's hard. I don't know how many of you people have been around long enough to see my cat come through stream. He often will show up down here, walk on through, or he'll hop up onto my lap and just sit there while I try to play around him. Often he wants to climb up onto my back, and I'm trying to play with a cat. Those are good streams. I think everyone really enjoys seeing my cat around and all the trouble he gives me. Sometimes he walks across the piano and he knocks over like the camera. He's a troublemaker. He hurt his foot back in gotta be October or so, and I didn't know how bad it was or what to do, so we just let it heal. And I don't really think I fully understand how or why, but apparently when they get infected or injured, they can have they get like cancer on that finger. So my so he's got a big old lump on his finger, and I brought him into the vet yesterday, and they said that we really ought to let him move on, that it was kind of really infected and cause problems, if that infection spreads to his body, or and it's probably painful, and I wasn't quite ready to say goodbye, so I scheduled the appointment for today. I've had 24 hours left with him. His appointment's at about 3:40, so it's about 1 o'clock now, so we got about two and a half hours left. He's a good cat. I met Ted, is what his name is. Though I think Dragon was calling him Kitty Ma. So I often refer to him as that on the stream. I met him first when he showed up in our backyard, and he just hung out. He kind of adopted us, and it was nice. Or rather, it was not. He, every time I got close to him, he would bat at our feet. And although he wanted attention, he just couldn't. He hung out there for I think a year or two. He started getting thin, and so we started feeding him. And that's when I met him. I hung out, I would go out and feed him and pet him, even in the winter. And it was really good. I think it was a winter in there toward getting into spring, and raccoons had discovered that they could raccoons could come and take his food, And we had a little dog house that's out there that we weren't using for anything, and he'd come into the front laps and eat the food, and right. And one of those times he must have tried to defend himself or something because they caught him on the cheek, and his cheek started getting all puffy swollen. We brought him into the garage and eventually decided to take him to the vet. Turns out he had a big old cyst on the side of his face, and they fixed him up and stitched him up, and yeah. Turns out Ted had a chip. We didn't know. And they actually found his original owners. And turns out his original name was Pepper. I named him Ted because I just looked at him and said, he looks like Ted. And yeah, it turns out that the original owners had lost him and just thought he had, wandered off one day and never came back. I think he was an indoor cat and then or something, I can't remember. It's too long. Not important. But he left. They lived with him. He lived with them for a couple years, 3 years or so. And then he wandered outside for approximately 7 years till we found him. And then we had those 3 or so years until that point. So by that point he was about 13. And he had spent about 9 of those years outside. And more amazing is that we got a big old river, and he managed to cross the river somehow. So, amazing. Or maybe the other thing that we don't know, of course, if he had some type of owner in between or something. But so yeah, after that, the kid who the cat originally was already grown up and gone to college, and they said that if he has somewhere that loves him and will take care of him, that we could keep him if we wanted. And I just loved this cat, and so we brought him home. He was a troublemaker. Because he was an outdoor cat for so long, he'd learned some really bad habits of, as I said, batting at people's ankles. It was very sharp. He'd use the claws on your lap or on your hands if you didn't like what you were doing. He'd bite people. But he was always really nice to me, even if he did put a few holes in me every once in a while. It took a while for him to get used to being able to roam around. He had another cat who it was his territory, and that was bad. So it took a while for them to start getting along, and yeah, I think ended up as, they're not on the best terms, but it worked out. And we've had a lot of great years. It's been about 5 years since we brought him inside. So that adds up to about 18. It's about 18 years old, which is pretty old for a cat. We say that he's a grumpy old man and that he came to the retirement home. We also joked about him being a flurkin from the Marvel universe because he looks like a cat, but he's a pretty great cat. He's very clever. He figures things out and hangs out with me. and I'm gonna miss him. I think this isn't goodbye forever, though. Someday I'll move on, and I'll get to see him again. And if you think about it that way, it's not so bad. He's in a lot of pain. He's got problems. And we've spent a lot of nights together. A lot of hard nights together. I knew for quite a while now that this was coming, and I spent a lot of time trying to spend my time with him. And so I don't regret it. He's a good cat. He's going to be okay. So yeah, that's oh, and I've been taking pictures and videos, so I'll have that to remember him by. So, I think here at the end of stream, I'm going to go grab my cat so you can see him on stream one last time. And then I'll go and hang out with him for the last hour or two before we have to say goodbye. Be right back. I asked Ted as nicely as I could, but he said he wasn't going to come. Sorry. But we took some pictures at the park today. It was good. Let me show you a cute cat at the park. There he is. Pretty great, huh? And this was he's a good cat. And I'm gonna miss him. But it's gonna be okay. And I'm probably gonna feel better over time. I spend all these days worrying about my cat and how well he's doing, and now I don't need to worry about it. So things will get better. I may not stream tomorrow, obviously, but I'll be hanging in there. I'm gonna wrap up. Until next time, folks. See ya.